Hola Queens, it's your girl Queen T here, also known as the one and only fiance coach. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube or on the podcast channel of the Fiance Diaries podcast, I welcome you and I'm happy that you can be here. Do me a favor, Queen, share this video with one of your best friends, an auntie, somebody that you believe will find this information valuable, even coworkers. We extending grace to coworkers because you spend a lot of time with them during the week, whether it's 40 to 60 hours a week. You spend a lot of time with your coworkers. Sometimes it's even more than you spend with your own best friends or your own family members, if we're honest. So let's try to be open and share the information and not hold it to ourselves. A lot of coworkers come to you with stuff that they're dealing with in their relationships, and you have something to offer. So be that guiding light for somebody in need, and you never know, you're helping them. You believe you're helping them with marriage, but what they don't realize is you're helping them be extended to kingdom marriage, and maybe they will come into having a relationship with Christ for themselves. All right, ladies, so today I'm excited to talk with you about something new. Recently, I did something that we all look forward to. It's not as big as the wedding and it's not as big as the honeymoon, but it's something that's just as exciting. All right, let's hear it. I finally changed my last name. Woo! Let's give it up for Queen T. All right, I finally took those steps and changed my last name. I am officially a Randall. I am proud of my last name. I have no shame in it. And I did the necessary steps to make the legal change. Now, I wanted to talk about this because, yes, I want to share with you that I finally made this change, but I think a lot of people I got a lot of side response. I don't want to say sideways because everything ain't about shade, y'all. I'm trying to learn that we grown women, people should be able to come to you with their honest opinions. Everything ain't always sideways, okay? But I got a lot of questions about why I decided to change my last name. I got questions about why did I decide to give up my maiden name. I got a lot of women who have been married for years giving me explanations on why they haven't changed their last names when I didn't even ask them. I don't know if that comes from guilt. I just don't know. But I want to honestly tell you what it took for me to change my last name. Now, my husband didn't need to prove anything to me because first and foremost, we already said our I do's. We put that at the altar. We were there in front of witnesses and in front of the one who matters most, which is our Lord Jesus Christ. But before I get to that, I wanted to just give some information for whoever's in the process of changing their name to let them know what they need to do, because I almost was led astray to do something that was not necessary. First of all, you need to know when it comes to changing your name because of marriage, it is absolutely free. You do not have to pay anything. It is free. I don't know what I was reading, but I just so happened to get into a conversation with a good friend of mine, and I was telling her that I was in the process of changing my last name, and I had to send money, like $100 and something. She stopped me and was like, "Wait a minute, what are you doing? You don't have to pay anything." So she sent me the correct information, and I thank God for her because if she didn't send me, y'all, they would have scammed Queen T, and I don't get scammed. So it is actually free. The first thing you want to do as soon as you change your name is as soon as you get married, whether you decide to change your name immediately or if you decide to wait 1 year like we did because of us moving to Germany and the hustle and bustle of adjusting to this culture and everything we had to go through, it just made sense to just wait till our 1 year. All right. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you get official certificates of your marriage. Official marriage certificates is what you need. And these are free. You should get at least 3 or 4 copies depending on what state you're in. You should get at least 3 or 4 copies for free. And how you do that, if they don't immediately send it to you within the first month, you just call up your circuit court and you ask them for it. So that's exactly what I did. And being in Germany, they sent it to me and I got them. So I went from there. Again, being overseas, I did a lot of this process overseas. All right. So there's no excuse of, oh, I don't live in the same state. I'm no longer in the US. It can be done. Thank God. I hate to say that. Ooh, we're going to back up from that. Well, because of COVID, a lot of things were forced to go digital or by snail mail. So because of that happening in 2020, a lot of these organizations, including the federal government, had to go digital with a lot of things, and Social Security allowed this. So it doesn't matter if you're in the same state or in the same country, you can still take steps to change your name legally. The first thing you want to start with is with Social Security. All right, Social Security, so that you can get an updated Social Security number. It's still going to be the same Social Security number, I'm going to tell you that, but it's just going to have whatever name you choose. Now we'll talk about that later as well. Whatever name you choose on the document, and they'll issue that to you. As soon as you get that Social Security number and the card, you can take that to your local motor vehicles and you can update your driver's license. But in addition to having that, you need your marriage certificate. I skipped a step with Social Security. Social Security is going to want original documents from you to verify your identification. People may think this is crazy, but when you get a passport, they literally make you send your original copy of your birth certificate, and then they mail it back to you with your passport. It's very similar when you're changing your last name with Social Security. You have to send them your original copy of your marriage certificate. You can send them an original copy of your birth certificate with your maiden last name on it. And you can also send them, believe it or not, your original driver's license. Now, what you'll do in the meantime when you don't have a driver's license, don't ask me. So here's some other things you can do to avoid not having your driver's license. See, me being overseas, I don't need my driver's license for the States because I have an international driver's license. But there were other options. They actually will allow you to submit an official school record, maybe like a transcript or something that has your original name on it. They'll also be willing to take a passport, an original passport. Now, what you do, Queen, is just don't plan any travel for 8 weeks. Send them your passport. Do what you got to do to change your name, because guess what? The passport is what you're going to have to do next. Now, I haven't gotten that far yet, Queens, with the passport, but I am very proud of myself that I have the Social Security number and I also have the driver's license that is updated. As soon as I went to motor vehicles, because as you know, I was in the States a few weeks ago after my grandmother had passed. I did post a video about that. Yes, my grandmother passed, and I don't want to get into it because I'm going to start getting sad, but I went to motor vehicles, scheduled an appointment. As I said, COVID has made everything so easy. It's so easy to just schedule an appointment. Everything's so digital. Of course, motor vehicles still want you to come in person because they want to verify them documents. And at the same time, my driver's license was scheduled to expire maybe like within a year. And the woman, I just told her, and she went ahead and updated it so I don't have to return to get that done. It was just stress-free changing my last name. And I am officially Randall. I am walking around rocking my R's, y'all. Yes, I do, okay? Yes, I do. I got my little R earrings, and people be like, what does the R stand for? And I gladly tell them, oh, because I changed my last name, hey. You know, like, be proud of your last name. Be proud of who you married. You know, you're representing something. You're about to build a family with that last name. That is something to be proud of. Now, we talked about the legal steps of changing your last name. Now, let's shift this conversation because I don't want this to go on too much further, but I know me, I like to talk, so we might just talk a little longer than I expect to. All right, so as soon as I changed my last name, and even when I was in the process of changing my last name, I was very surprised by the responses that I got from women who have been married for, believe it or not, like at least 5 years plus, and what they said about why they didn't change their last name. And when they heard that I was, not keeping my maiden name in my name, they just were really shocked. I got this, I had done everything with my maiden last name. I had got my education. I had gotten all these accolades and successes with my last name. My husband didn't really care. And I got women that were saying like, well, I really have
strong ties to my family, with my maiden family, which I'll get into in a sec, because that was your girl Queen T in the beginning. I will not even, I'm gonna keep it straight with y'all. I won't even lie with y'all. But it was just so surprising. These women were providing, they were giving me responses for questions I didn't ask them. But it was just like something about me changing my last name made them feel as though they had to give me an explanation for why they didn't fully go through with changing theirs. Now, my reasons for changing my last name should not in any way be anyone else's reasons for changing their last name. To each their own, queens. What I will say is, my husband and I agreed that it was best to wait for 1 year before changing our names. So that was something we both agreed on. He actually came up with the idea, and I just was like, cool. I will say that I had a hard time parting with my last name. I had to call my dad. I called my dad, and I kind of felt like, wow, like, am I like leaving, like what the Bible says, like leave and cleave? Like, am I really leaving my family behind? Like, am I not going to be attached? Am I not going to have access to the assets and things that were left for me? And I really was having like a little girl moment. I had to talk to my dad about it. And my dad very much assured me that you'll always be my baby girl, and that'll always be a part of your name, you know? It's just that this is life, and you're going on to create your own family, and that should be something that you're proud of. And, you know, I prayed on it, and I was like, you know what, that's right. Like, I knew what I was getting into. I knew that, you know, I knew my husband's last name. I was cool with his last name. You know, it was a good last name to me. And we'll talk about last names another day, because I don't want to shade nobody today, okay? Because there's some people I didn't dated in the past, and their last names turned out to be exactly the type of character they had. But that's a whole nother story, queens. Anyway, yeah, I just was really surprised that a lot of women felt that they owed me an excuse for their last name. And it almost made me wonder if there's a sense of guilt, or maybe that was a pressure point in their marriage that possibly came up. For the women that told me that their husbands didn't care, there was a part of me that was like, really? I remember a few men telling me, like, that's the only thing guys get when getting married. You know, the woman, the big wedding is for her, and everyone comes to see the bride, and this is that and the third. But the big thing that the guy gets is that, oh my gosh, somebody is taking my name. It's an honor for them. And I really hope that my husband, you know, feels that way. He seems just as excited as I am about the last name, to be honest with you. He's like, okay, so when you're going to get your passport done? I'm like, babe, chill. Like, you know, I'm legal now. Like, I can officially go around saying that this is my last name. But it's also exciting just to see how my husband is happy that I get to wear his last name. Like, this is a real deal. Like, we got married over a year ago, and wow, like, he's still excited about me having his last name. It makes me feel really good. But yeah, I just don't know what to say about the women that felt like they owed me an excuse. And I'm not saying excuse, as I said, we're not being shady, but that's what it sounded like, because I didn't ask for explanation. I didn't felt like they owed me anything. I just was honestly excited to be changing my last name, and they would ask me why I changed mine, and they were like, really? You're just gonna part ways with it? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of what we all did when we were at the aisle, did we not? Ladies, let me remind you, if you are watching this video, you are on a journey for kingdom marriage. Kingdom marriage is not perfect marriage, but it's about unity. And in my household, I very much strive for unity. This is an everyday thing. It's not something that my husband and I have arrived at. It is something that every day you have to put work into it. And it may seem small. Oh, name change is something on the paper, but it's a much bigger thing for us. One day we're going to have some little ones running around here, you know? And I don't want them questioning me about, why is mommy's name different than daddy's? I don't want that in my family. I want my family to feel like we're all one. I don't, you know, I even thought about doing the dash in the middle of my maiden last name and my marital last name. And I just very much felt like taking on my husband's full last name and, you know, moving forward was best for me. God rest my grandmother's soul. she took on my grandfather's name, and the women before her, this is just what they did. So I'm very much honored. And that's why I tell you, ladies, be very, very, very careful and aware of who you're marrying and what you're marrying into. Like, a last name carries so much weight. It does. And it means a lot. So you just want to be careful. And I've heard that excuse as well. Some women say, well, I just really didn't like my husband's last name, or his last name is weird and it doesn't go right with my name. And there were just there were so many responses to that. I don't get it. I don't know. But I am excited to have completed this. This is something that I can check off on my list that I've done. Let me know your thoughts on it. Maybe this is something that you're in the process of. Maybe you're thinking about it. Maybe you're not married yet, but it's something that you're just wondering about. Like, I wonder what my last name is going to be. I always wondered about it. I will say that. And it is something that, becomes like this mystery. And it doesn't mean that you're a different person, but I do like the idea of a fresh, clean slate. I like that idea. There were things with my maiden last name that a lot of accomplishments, a lot of accolades, a lot of successes. But there was also a lot of guilt, a lot of pain, a lot of shame, a lot of things that I am still working to put to bed. But with this new last name, I feel like I have a chance. And when I look at it, I see a new start date, which isn't my date of birth, but like my marital date. And I hope that others view it the same way. So, let me know your thoughts. Give me your feedback on this, and also share it with your friends and let me know what they think as well. Feel free to leave a comment below or send me an email at queentprod@gmail.com. I'm always welcome. I'm always open to hearing your suggestions on other podcast topics that we should discuss. All right, ladies. So again, this is Queen T. That's my time. It's the Fiance Coach, connecting you to your true wife goals. Let's roll. Love y'all.